That was when I ruled the land.
I, like most people, used to watch Minecraft parodies as a kid. One of the biggest Minecraft parodies is Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom is the first installment of a popular Minecraft video series that has a running story that many other YouTubers have made videos about. Of course, these aren't the only Minecraft music videos Captian Sparkelz has made. He had 2 before this and 7 that came after it. After watching these extensively, I believe that every single one of them exists in the same universe. Well, mostly. Kinda. But before I get into connecting all of them, I have to first explain the original series. The first video, Fallen Kingdom, starts with a king, who is taking a stroll through his kingdom, interacting with the people and just enjoying himself. However, we are getting flashbacks to the same king walking through the kingdom in ruin. Throughout his escapades, he is shown trapping a creeper in a cage, something that will be important for later. Then, Herobrine shows up and releases a bunch of mobs, which start to take over the kingdom. The king tries to put up resistance, but ends up getting completely overrun. But before he leaves with his wife and kid, he grabs the Eye of Ender from the end portal, which is, for some reason, in his basement. Then, he gets separated from his wife and kid by a creeper. Man, this guy really has a bad relationship with creepers, huh? Then, the king eventually escapes. The next morning, a group of adventurers finds the king's son, and they take him back to their village, leaving him in the care of this guy, which I'ma call Hubert. Hubert starts training the boy until one day they stumble upon a prophecy. Also, their village is being burnt down. They take out the pigmen attacking the village, but Hubert gets wiped. The guys attacking the village conveniently had a map to Herobrine, which the boy follows to go defeat Herobrine. He finds Herobrine, and after a pretty short battle, Herobrine is defeated. Then he returns to the village, which is being rebuilt. In Hubert's house, they find a map that had been stashed away, that leads to the Fallen Kingdom. The boy follows this map and has to deal with a wither on the way, where we see the main villains of the series, which are an old zombie pigman, a wither skeleton, and an empty throne. I can only presume that this empty throne was meant for Herobrine. Also, the Emperor Zombie Pigman instructs the creation of the wither that the boy fights. The boy eventually beats the wither, but the Nether Star is taken by the pigman. The boy then continues on his journey and ends up at the Fallen Kingdom. He looks up to see his dad, the king, waiting there. I believe that this takes place right after the last scene in Fallen Kingdom, because the same dragonfly that we see in the end credits of Fallen Kingdom is also seen right here. It also shows the creation of this mech with the guy that killed Hubert as the pilot. Something cool I noticed is that we can actually see Hubert Killer earlier in the video in the background. Then, the king reveals a secret room to the boy, holding a magical artifact. Simultaneously, the pigmen start attacking the overworld. The boy and the king go into the end and use the artifact to domesticate the dragon, which seems to be the artifact's entire purpose. They then use the dragon to fight the pigman army and win, but last minute, Hubert's killer fires a rocket at the king, which the boy latches onto and Tony Starks into the nether. We then cut to the king rebuilding his kingdom and mourning the boy and his wife. So, yeah, that's Fallen Kingdom. Okay, we're not entirely done. There is a prequel. It shows the king when he was younger, breaking into Herobrine's castle. He goes through a bunch of trials and tribulations and eventually gets in a battle with 2 wardens. He's barely saved by grabbing the artifact from before and making one warden fight the other, showing that it doesn't just work on the Ender Dragon. This is very important for later. Then, the king escapes to a random mountain, which will later be his kingdom. This is important for connecting it to the other videos, as it shows that the king was not born into royalty, and that he had to build up to his kingdom with ambition and hard work. Okay, now we can finally connect the other videos. I'll start with Revenge and TNT. I believe that Revenge is the earliest video in the timeline, but it's not chronologically. Revenge focuses on this guy, who is just minding his own business and mining, when a creeper chases him out of the mine and eventually blows up on him. He survives at half a heart and eventually makes it to his house. He then decides to get revenge on the creepers. using all of his diamonds to craft a diamond sword, chestplate, and helmet. But that's it. I found it weird that he only crafted those 2 pieces of armor, but that's when I realized it's the exact same armor we see in Fallen Kingdom. It's kinda strange that both of them just have the exact same incomplete set of gear. I mean, you would think the king would have more than just 2 pieces of armor. After the Steve makes his armor, he goes out and takes revenge on all of the creepers. And once he does this, he doesn't even celebrate his win, he just walks off like the job isn't finished. This hatred for creepers also tracks, as we see the king imprisoning a creeper in Fallen Kingdom, with what I presume is many more. These links between the king and the main character of Revenge are pretty decent, but we never see the Steve have any ambitions like building a kingdom, or at least we don't in Revenge. Captain Sparkel's first parody video, TNT, is almost entirely about killing creepers, continuing Steve's revenge. It also has an emphasis on being the ruler of the world, using TNT derived from the creepers. We also see Steve having thoughts of building his own nation. This sets a darker undertone for Fallen Kingdom, as if this Steve is in fact the king, that means that the kingdom was built on warfare and creeper genocide. These videos, to me, show the king before he had power, showed his initial objective, and the means that he used to create his kingdom. Those 2 videos took place before the events of the Fallen Kingdom series. I believe that 2 of Captain Sparkel's other videos take place far after Fallen Kingdom. I'm not entirely sure which one takes place first between the 2, but based on the technology, I believe that Minecraft Style took place first. Minecraft Style is a parody of Gangnam Style, and is basically just a Minecraft version of it. I initially had trouble linking this video with Fallen Kingdom, but after rewatching it multiple times, I came across something. In one of the dance portions, there are a bunch of people dancing in costumes, something that I assume is similar to Halloween. And one of the characters is dressed up like the king. This, to me, shows that the king ended up becoming an important figure in this world's history, kind of like George Washington or Napoleon. This also lines up with a piece of evidence we see in Turn It Up, that I'll talk about later. Also, Herobrine was there, which means that the stories of him have been passed down too. He even has the hood he wears. This video being canon to Fallen Kingdom does come with its own questions. We are shown that multiple mobs, including creepers, are now part of human and villager society. But how is this possible? Well, I believe that after losing his son, the king had a change of heart towards mobs, and he used the power of his staff, which we know works on more than just the Ender Dragon, to domesticate the mobs. And eventually, the mobs acclimated to everyday life, and now live together with humans. The next video chronologically is Turn It Up. It follows a kid with a magical boombox that makes humans dance. Before I attempt to explain the boombox, I need to link this world to the main timeline, and I found just the way to do it. 40 seconds in, we see the Fallen Kingdom flag on a screen in the main street. I presume that this is either some sort of advertisement using the Fallen Kingdom IP, or a history show. We also see a tattered version of the king's outfit in a pawn shop at the beginning. This is most likely just a costume. I mean, we already know that costumes of the king are very popular. So if this is connected, how do we explain the magical jukebox? Well, I don't believe it's the jukebox itself that's making people dance, but rather the music disc that the boy starts the video with. My guess is that the music disc is derived from the same power as the king's staff, but tailored towards humans. That's why it has a cyan color instead of a purple one. Now, I'm not sure how the boy got possession of it, but I believe that he stole it from the company that acts as the antagonists of Turn It Up, who try to take it back from him. Okay, those are all the videos that I have real solid evidence for. The rest, well, I'm gonna struggle to try and find a link. So, Rush Over Me follows a boy and his dog entering some kind of dungeon and stealing an artifact, then getting chased out by some wither skeletons. The artifact has Minecraft enchantment table language that translates to ANOM, likely the first couple letters of Anomaly. It's also cyan color, so it could connect with the music disc from Turn It Up, but how is this connected to Fallen Kingdom? Well, remember the Wither King? We never saw any of his troops, and to my knowledge, this was the first time in any of Captain Sparkelz' music videos that we see a Wither skeleton. So, these Wither skeletons may be what happened to his soldiers. And besides that, the setting to this world seems similar to the setting of Fallen Kingdom, so they may even take place at the same or similar times. Up next is We Are the Night. There are a couple similarities, like this door lock being similar, and the gem in this rich guy's amulet being similar to the gems on the Pigman King's crown. So my theory for this one? This guy got rich scavenging the nether after the events of Fallen Kingdom. Kinda like the vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. Besides that, there really isn't all that much. Next is Won't Let Go, which follows this pigman as he befriends two humans and helps them escape the nether. This has to take place before the events of Fallen Kingdom, and there are two main reasons for that. The first is the ending of Dragonhearted. It seems that after the piglins are blown up, every other pigman just dies. And the second is the technology level of the pigmen. In Find the Pieces, they have castles and much more advanced technology. However, here it seems like they're barely past base Minecraft. So, does this have any significance to the main story? I would say yes. Earlier, when I said that we only saw wither skeletons in that one part, I was kinda lying. For a split second, we see a wither skeleton in a cage where one of the humans was lowered into the lava. I originally thought that this might just be like a charred skeleton, but later in the video, we see a normal skeleton working for the pigments. So I believe that this is how the wither skeletons are made, and that this guy in the end becomes the Wither King. This human sacrifices himself to save our pigman main character, but we see no sign of anyone going to save him afterwards. I also think that this was the start of the war. Both sides had casualties, so they both had a pretty good reason to justify war for each other. Alright, up next is Useless.
Don't craft a diamond hoe, it's useless. Don't craft a diamond hoe.
What the hell am I watching? How am I supposed to connect this one, bro? Alright, here we go. So, this video shows Captain Sparkelz and some other dude as like Roblox characters walking down a long hallway. This is actually the second time we've seen Captain Sparkelz as a character in these videos. The first time was in Revenge, where he just kinda danced around. I actually do have a theory on how this character fits into this story, or more, how it doesn't. I believe that Captain Sparkelz is a fourth dimensional being that merely spectates the events of the Fallen Kingdom world, kind of like the Watchers from Marvel Comics. This would make sense of why he was just kind of there in Revenge, and kind of makes sense of where he is in this video and why he looks like that. Alright, the last one, Old Town Road. Yeah, I've got nothing. This video follows a cowboy that saves a girl who's tied up on train tracks, then defeats another dude in a standoff. But that's it. It's obviously not in the same setting as the rest of the series. I've really got nothing. I've rewatched this video so many times. So yeah, I guess I couldn't connect every single Captain Sparkelz music video. But I still got 6 though.